New Zealand, a land of towering mountains and lush green valleys, has been home to the Maori people for centuries. They arrived from Polynesia, navigating vast distances across the Pacific Ocean in their waka, or canoes. These journeys were feats of incredible navigation and endurance, showcasing their deep knowledge of the stars, ocean currents and winds. These skilled seafarers established a deep connection with the land, developing their own unique culture and way of life. They cultivated the land, fished the abundant waters, and hunted the native birds, all while maintaining a balance with nature. Maori society was structured around tribes and hapu, or sub-tribes. Each Ailuai and hapu had its own distinct identity, yet they were all united by common ancestry and shared traditions. Their lives were governed by tikanga, or customs, which dictated everything from social interactions to the use of natural resources. These customs were deeply rooted in respect for the environment and the community. Their history and beliefs were passed down through generations in oral traditions. Storytelling was a vital part of Maori culture, preserving the knowledge and wisdom of their ancestors. The land was central to their identity, a source of sustenance and a connection to their ancestors. Every mountain, river and forest held spiritual significance, embodying the presence of their forebears. Before the arrival of Europeans, Maori were the sole inhabitants of New Zealand. They had developed a sophisticated society with complex social structures, art and technology. They lived in harmony with nature, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the land and the sea. Their agricultural practices were sustainable, ensuring that the land remained fertile for future generations. The arrival of Europeans would forever change the course of their history. This new chapter brought both opportunities and immense challenges, reshaping the Maori way of life in profound ways. The arrival of European explorers in the 17th century marked a turning point in New Zealand's history. Dutch explorer Abel Tasman was the first European to sight New Zealand in 1642, followed by the British explorer Captain James Cook in 1769. Cook's voyages brought New Zealand to the attention of the Western world. Soon, European traders, whalers and sealers began to arrive, drawn by the promise of resources and new opportunities. These early interactions between Maori and Europeans were often marked by misunderstanding and conflict. The growing European presence in New Zealand led to increasing pressure on the Maori way of life. Competition for resources, the introduction of new diseases and cultural clashes created tension and instability. It became increasingly clear that a formal agreement was needed to manage the relationship between Maori and the growing number of British settlers. By the 1830s, the British Crown was facing pressure to formalize its relationship with Maori. Missionaries were advocating for the protection of Maori interests, while increasing lawlessness and land disputes threatened British colonial ambitions in the region. In 1839, Captain William Hobson was dispatched to New Zealand with instructions to acquire sovereignty over the islands. His mission was to negotiate a treaty with Maori chiefs that would cede sovereignty to the British Crown while guaranteeing Maori rights to their lands and resources. Hobson, facing a tight deadline from the British Crown, moved quickly to draft a treaty. He sought the expertise of missionary Henry Williams, who was fluent in the Maori language, to translate the document. The Treaty of Waitangi, named after the place where it was first signed, was prepared in haste, setting the stage for a momentous event in New Zealand's history. On the 6th of February 1840, at Waitangi in the Bay of Islands, a large gathering of Maori chiefs assembled. They had come from across the North Island to meet with Captain Hobson and discuss the proposed treaty. The atmosphere was tense, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension hung in the air. The chiefs, proud leaders of their people, engaged in robust debate with Hobson, carefully considering the implications of the document before them. After much discussion, the chiefs began to sign the Treaty of Waitangi, dipping their feathers in ink and adding their moko, or facial tattoos, as a mark of their agreement. Over the next few months, copies of the treaty were taken around New Zealand, and more than 500 chiefs added their signatures. The Treaty of Waitangi was intended to mark a new era in the relationship between Maori and the British Crown. This treaty was a significant moment in New Zealand's history, aiming to establish a framework for coexistence and mutual respect. The signing ceremony itself was a blend of solemnity and hope, as both parties looked forward to a future of cooperation. Despite the initial tensions and debates, the act of signing was a gesture of goodwill and a step towards unity. Artists and historians have since captured this pivotal event in various forms, preserving its legacy for future generations. Today, the Waitangi Treaty grounds stand as a testament to this historic agreement, attracting visitors from around the world who come to learn about this crucial chapter in New Zealand's past. Every year, Waitangi Day is celebrated, reminding us of the ongoing journey towards understanding and partnership between the Maori and the British Crown. Section 5, two versions, two understandings, Te Tiriti and the Treaty. The Treaty of Waitangi exists in two versions, an English text and a Maori text known as Te Tiriti o Waitangi. While both versions were considered official, there were significant differences in meaning and interpretation. The English version of the treaty ceded sovereignty to the British Crown in exchange for the protection of Maori lands and resources. However, the Maori version, Te Tiriti o Waitangi, used the term kawanatanga, which implied a sharing of power rather than a complete surrender of sovereignty. These differences in translation and understanding would have profound implications for the future relationship between Maori and the Crown. The differing interpretations of key terms, particularly regarding sovereignty and land rights, would become a source of ongoing debate and conflict. Section 6, promises made, promises broken. The treaty and the years that followed. The years following the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi were marked by a growing sense of betrayal and resentment among Maori. The promises made in the treaty, particularly regarding the protection of Maori land, were often ignored. Land confiscation became widespread, as the colonial government sought to acquire more land for European settlement. Maori were increasingly marginalized in their own country, their traditional way of life disrupted by the rapid pace of change. The New Zealand Wars of the 19th century further strained relations between Maori and the Crown. These conflicts, sparked by land disputes and cultural clashes, resulted in significant loss of life and land for Maori. The Treaty of Waitangi, intended as a symbol of partnership, became a symbol of broken promises and injustice. Section 7, a legacy rediscovered the treaty in modern New Zealand. The 20th century saw a resurgence of interest in the Treaty of Waitangi and its significance for New Zealand society. Maori began to assert their rights under the treaty, demanding recognition of their grievances and seeking redress for past injustices. The Waitangi Tribunal was established in 1975 to investigate breaches of the Treaty of Waitangi and to make recommendations for settlement. This marked a turning point in the relationship between Maori and the Crown, providing a platform for Maori to have their voices heard and their claims addressed. The Treaty of Waitangi has become increasingly central to New Zealand's national identity. It is now recognized as a founding document acknowledging the unique partnership between Maori as tangata whenua and the Crown. Section 8. The Treaty and Maori Rights, protecting indigenous culture and land. The Treaty of Waitangi plays a crucial role in protecting the rights of Maori, New Zealand's indigenous people. It guarantees Maori rights to their lands, forests, fisheries and other taonga, ensuring the preservation of their cultural heritage for future generations. The principles of the treaty, such as partnership, participation and protection. The Treaty of Waitangi recognizes the special status of Maori as the original inhabitants of New Zealand. It acknowledges their unique history, culture and language, and affirms their right to self-determination. The treaty is a living document. Its principles continue to shape the relationship between Maori and the Crown in contemporary New Zealand.